Good morning, good morning, good morning, morning. You guys see the moniker. You guys see the prompt. All roads lead back to Obama and the jealousy of Obama. Y'all see the prompt. So, here we are. You know what? I'm kind of sick of and tired of the nonsense about how we got where we got with Iran and the deal and all of that. We've reached a point in this country where people don't just judge policies by whether they actually work or not, but by who created the policies. If the other side came up with the idea, then it has to be destroyed, even if it was keeping the country safer, keeping the economy stable, and keeping the world from sliding into disaster, right? That kind of petty, tribal, ego-driven politics is exactly how we got into the mess we're dealing with right now. And nowhere is that more clear than with the Iran nuclear deal. See, so now I know the minute people hear the words Iran and nuclear program, they want to tune out. Okay, fine. They think this is some faraway foreign policy debate that doesn't affect them at all. But stay with me, because this is not just about Iran. This is about your wallet. This is about gas prices. This is about why the Middle East feels like it's always on the edge of another conflict. And this is why America is now burning through its Strategic Petroleum Reserve, the emergency stockpile of oil that is supposed to protect us during national crisis. And I believe all roads lead back to one reckless, very reckless decision by this president. Donald Trump tearing up Barack Obama's nuclear deal led us to where we are today, to this disaster, to Iran in control of the Strait of Hormuz when they weren't. We are backsliding in this war. We got to be honest about what that agreement that Obama negotiated was. Was it perfect? No. Nobody seriously ever said it was perfect, but it was working. It was doing exactly what it was designed to do. Iran had agreed to slash its stockpile of enriched uranium, dismantle thousands of centrifuges, and open its facilities to international inspections. That's what that agreement was about. The whole point of the agreement wasn't that America suddenly trusted Iran. It was just the opposite. It was don't trust them, but verify everything that they do. That is what diplomacy is supposed to look like. You don't make agreements because you love your adversaries. You make agreements because they create rules, accountability, and stability. You make agreements between you two because the alternative is often uncertain, escalation, and eventual conflict, which we have right now. But Donald Trump couldn't leave it alone. His jealousy of Obama brought us here. He called it a disaster deal. It was not. He said it was one of the worst agreements ever negotiated. It was not. That fucking deal is looking mighty goddamn good right about now, ain't it, President Trump? Ain't it? Because you can't get these people to bend to your will. He promised the American people that if he tore up the Obama deal, Iran deal, he would get a much bigger, much stronger, much better deal. We all remember the promises. This president has made too many promises that he has failed to keep. But we all remember that promise. Iran would be forced back to the table. Maximum pressure would make them cave and do what we wanted them to do. America would be stronger than ever. Well, I think it's fair to ask a simple fucking question. Where's the better deal? Where is it? Because 8 years later, after you tore up Obama's deal, we don't have a better agreement. We are not in a better position today. We don't have a stronger anything after you tore up that Obama deal. We don't even have an agreement. We don't have jack shit. We have lost ground under this president because he tore up the deal that Obama made. What we have instead is that Iran resumed and expanded large parts of his nuclear program after you tore up the deal, President Trump. And this is where I think people are missing the big picture. This ain't just a story about one diplomatic agreement. This is a story about what happens when political ego becomes more important than practical results. I have said it before and I'll say it again. I think a lot of what happened after 2016 was driven by an obsession with erasing the Obama legacy. The Tea Party backlash, the birther issue, the constant attacks on Obama from the day he took office. Obama is going to always and forever be a better president than Donald Trump. It just is what it is, right? All of that backlash and hatred for Obama created an environment where anything associated with Obama had to be destroyed, not improved upon. Instead of trying to make our country better, Donald Trump's jealousy made our country worse. Donald Trump's hatred of Obama made our country worse. It wasn't enough to modify the policies or negotiate the changes. The goal was to wipe the changes or the policies off the books, and that made our country worse. And I think the Iran deal became one of the biggest casualties and biggest failures of the Trump administration. It will be one of the biggest failures of this Trump administration. Him tearing up the Iran deal that Obama had negotiated. Because if the objective had really been to make the agreement stronger, because if the objective had really been to make our country safer, because if the objective had really been to make us be able to control Iran, then Trump would have stayed at the table and pushed for improvements with that Obama deal instead of tearing it up. He would have worked with the allies to control Iran. He would have built on what was already there. He would have built on what was already there. Instead, Donald Trump decided that he wanted to walk away and dared Iran to respond. Now look at where we at. Look at where we at. No deal on the table, no deal in sight, no ceasefire. Them running the Strait of Hormuz, Iran running the Strait of Hormuz. Look at where we at. All because of the jealousy of Obama that Donald Trump has, who he could never live up to in his wildest dreams. Okay. Iran respond. You said United States walked away. Donald Trump tore up the deal and walked away and dared Iran to do something. Iran did do something. They restarted the activities they had agreed to limit when Obama was in charge. Uranium enrichment increased. Stockpiles grew. International inspectors had less visibility. The region became more unstable under Donald Trump's watch. The possibility of military confrontation increased. See, that's what people don't get. We have all the military and might behind us, and you still can't knock Iran down. You still can't control Iran. You still got them coming at us. That's a problem. This is a classic David and Goliath problem. Okay? Goliath thought they were impossible to beat. They had the most formidable military. And all the military in the world is not helping the United States now. So that means nothing. The region became even more unstable. Iran is even more, the area, the Middle East is even more unstable. The possibility of military confrontation has increased twofold. And now years later, we're watching that instability ripple across the global economy with the tearing up of this deal that Obama negotiated. Okay. And this is the part they don't want you to connect. When Trump tore up the Obama deal, he didn't just create a diplomatic crisis. He started a chain reaction to where we are right now. No deal meant Iran restarted and expanded its nuclear program. A stronger Iranian program meant greater tension throughout the Middle East. Greater tension put the Strait of Hormuz and the global oil supply under constant threat. Now it's under the control of Iran. Make the shit make sense. Dumb, you play dumbass games, you win dumbass prizes. Right? Oil markets reacted. Prices became volatile. Shipping became riskier. I don't know what they doing in that Strait of Hormuz. Ain't nobody trying to go through there with all the mines. That's wild that we're in the middle of this whole, and why y'all can't make a deal? Why y'all can't make a deal? Why Iran ain't coming to the table? Because they don't fucking have to. Because this dumbass administration put us in this position where we got to negotiate with somebody for a fucking piece of land that ain't even ours and ain't even theirs. That's wild. And now America is now we have to go into our Strategic Petroleum Reserves. Now we got to dip back into our reserves to soften this blow. If we had not went into our reserves, the gas would be $6, $7, $8, $9. Our gas would be $6, $7, $8, $9. Normally we have like 700 million barrels, million or billion barrels of oil. Now we're down to like 300 million. We done cut off half of our oil. With us using 9 or 10 million or billion gallons of oil a day, we're running through our reserves. We can't separate the story of the reserves from the decision to abandon the Iran deal. They are chapters in the same story. This is the price of tearing of diplomacy. This is the price that we have to pay for this president's insecurity and jealousy of the former president. This is the price we're paying. Okay? Think about it. If you owned a home and somebody convinced you to throw away your insurance policy because they promised that they had a better insurance policy, then years later, your house caught on fire and they said, well, we don't actually have a replacement, so just empty your savings account. You would be mad as fuck. That's exactly what this feels like. Donald Trump promised a better Iranian deal, and he never got it because they never had any intention of going along with a deal. You tore up the deal that we had. You tore up the gatekeeping that we had on the Iranians already, and you put us in more danger. Now, ain't this the administration that keep talking about we trying to keep you safe? You didn't keep us safe. You put us in even more danger. You put us in even more of a perilous position. That's what you did. Okay? That's what you did. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve is not supposed to be a checking account. It's not supposed to be dwindled down to half of its reserves. It's not supposed to be a political piggy bank for you. Give the American, because when the war started, Donald Trump gave the oil reserves permission to release about 175 million gallons or whatever, 175 or something to that effect of oil, so that the American taxpayer didn't have to pay higher prices. If we did not have the reserve, our gas prices would be $6, $7, $8, $9. But we're running out of that oil reserve very, very fast at 9, 10 10 million or 10 billion gallons a day. Okay. This is America's, the oil reserve is America's emergency savings account. It exists for when we go to war, embargoes, natural disasters, major disruptions of the world economy or energy supply. It's there because smart countries prepare for emergencies. So when you hear that we're drawing down on the oil reserve at levels not seen in decades, the question should not simply be how much oil is left. The real question should be, why are we here in the first fucking place? We're here in the first fucking place because this petty ass president was jealous of Obama and decided that he was going to tear up whatever Obama did. You can't erase Obama. Obama is the better president. He's always going to be a better president. There's nothing that Donald Trump can do to measure up to Obama. Obama is head and shoulders above him. So tearing up the things that Obama did, the policies that Obama put in place, won't make you a better president. You can replace him all you want to, but you still won't be as good as the Obama. Okay? So the question we have to ask is, how much oil is left? I think about half our reserves is left. Real question, why are we here in the first place? Is because nobody wanted to rely on emergency reserves. Nobody wants to empty the bank account, the savings account. The fact that we're doing it tells you that something went wrong before we got to that savings account. And tearing up the Obama deal is what went wrong. I think that what happened upstream, that upstream decision was tearing up a diplomatic agreement without having a serious replacement ready to go. Why you didn't have a serious replacement ready to go? I know why y'all didn't have no serious replacement to replace Obama's oil deal with Iran. Because you thought that because your military was mightier, you thought they would bend the knee to you. You thought that you'd bomb, and they do what you wanted them to do. We know what it was. That's the arrogance of the United States. That's the arrogance of an older white male who's running this country and who has weird and outdated ideas about what to do and when to do when it comes to nuclear power and reserve and power in other countries and his will and might over. We're not the mightiest country in the world anymore. Not like that. You have to get along with people in this world. You can't just go by yourself. Okay. What frustrates me more is the hypocrisy, though. For years, we heard endless criticism that Democrats were weak on foreign policy. We were told diplomacy was weakness. We were told negotiations were surrender. We were told walking away from agreements and acting tough would make America stronger. Well, how's that working out for y'all right now? Are we safer today than we were under Obama's agreement? No, we're not. Is Iran further away from a nuclear weapon or closer? Goddamn closer. Is the Middle East calmer or is it more dangerous? It's fucking more dangerous. Are global energy markets more stable or are they constantly reacting to the next crisis? Reacting. So this president didn't make us more safe. The president is worried about what's going on within the country. And he's worried more about what's going on outside the country than he is worried about what's going on inside the country. American families are paying more at the pump. They're paying more for groceries. They're paying more for everything. Okay. Now we're down to our emergency reserves. The answer is staring us right in the face. Why it happened. This president. This is what happens when politics become about destroying your opponent instead of protecting your country. And let me speak from my own experience for a minute. I'm a 60-year-old woman. I've lived long enough to know what backlash looks like. I've seen what happens when Black excellence and Black competence make certain people uncomfortable. I watched Barack Obama become president, and I watched the reaction. I watched people question whether he belonged there. I watched people attack his family, his citizenship, his legitimacy. I watched an entire political movement build itself around resentment, the Tea Party. So when people tell me, is it impossible that jealousy and resentment played a role in tearing up one of Obama's signature foreign policy achievements? Yes, it did. The jealousy of Donald Trump brought us where we are today, brought us to using the reserves, brought us to Iran being in charge of Strait of Hormuz. Okay. I saw his determination to erase anything connected to the Obama administration, whether it benefited the country or not. And regular working people are the ones who are paying the price for this bullshit. Families in Georgia, Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, and every small town, big and little across the country, are the ones dealing with these higher costs, uncertainties, and instability. Working people are the ones filling up the gas tank every week. Working people are the ones watching grocery bills skyrocket. We didn't make the decision to tear up that agreement. We didn't promise a better deal that never came. We didn't create this chaos, and we're the ones who got to pay for it, though. And I think that is what bothers me the most about this entire story. This didn't have to happen. We didn't have to be here. Donald Trump could have kept the agreement in place while negotiating a new deal. He could have worked with the allies to strengthen the inspections. He could have maintained pressure while preserving the stability of the agreement. Instead, the agreement was ripped up. The promised replacement never materialized. Tensions escalated. Iran started making more nuclear weapons, and now the American people are less safe. And now we're watching the consequences unfold in real time. This is the price of tearing up diplomacy. This is the price of putting Donald Trump's ego ahead of strategy. And this is the price of treating government like reality television instead of serious public service. And this is why I believe all the roads lead back to the moment in 2018 when Donald Trump's jealousy of Obama became front and center. People ask me this all the time. How did we get here? How did we end up with another Iran crisis? How did we end up talking about draining the strategic petroleum reserves? How did we get to a place where the world feels more unstable than it did 5-10 years ago? I think the answer is right in front of us. Donald Trump. We stopped asking whether the policies worked and started asking who got credit for the policies. And once politics becomes about denying your opponent's victory instead of serving the public interest, you end up tearing down the very things that are led to protect us. This is why I believe jealousy of Obama got us here. This is why I believe the Iran crisis is here and the strategic reserves are connected. And that's why I think America needs to start demanding something better than this performative bullshit petty politics that this president is practicing. Because tearing things down is easy. Making the world safer is much harder. And building these agreements are harder. Maintaining peace is harder. Why y'all ain't came to no agreement yet? That's what I like to know. Why y'all ain't came to no agreement? Why y'all can't get Iran to bend the knee? You can't get Iran to bend the knee because you let them run off on your ass. Okay. Nobody can, no amount of jealousy is going to make President Trump be equal or anything under or close to Obama. Nothing. Okay. Nothing. So it is what it is. So the hardest part with living with all of this is living with the consequences after everything falls apart. Now we got to live with it. Now we got to live with the fact that there is no agreement in place. The world is more of a dangerous place. More headache, more instability. Iran ain't coming to the table. Iran don't have to come to the table. Iran is winning. We're the ones that's losing. We're losing because of the ego of this president. That's why we're losing. Because of the ego of this president. Okay? And the whole point is, how are we going to get back to where we can have some kind of stability in this world? Okay. We don't know. We don't know. Because this administration keeps bumbling over itself. Okay. This administration keeps bumbling over itself. Okay. Tripping over the decisions that it makes. Okay. Right. So if the goal of tearing up Obama's deal was to make America safer, stronger, and more secure, then why are we sitting here years later with more advanced Iranian nuclear programs and a more unstable Middle East and America that is dripping into our emergency oil reserves to manage the fallout? If this was such a success, if Donald Trump had made such success with this Iranian deal, why are we sitting here in worse situation than we were? And maybe it's time to admit that this was never about getting a better deal. Maybe he just didn't want a better deal. Maybe it was all about making sure Obama didn't get credit for the one he already made. Okay. No, we had $700 billion oil reserves. Stop it, excessive Gore. Don't rewrite history. Okay. Now we only have half. Don't rewrite history. Just goofy. And if making sure Obama didn't get credit was the objective, then the cost of that jealousy has come at an enormous price for us as Americans. We paid for this instability. We're going to pay for high energy costs. We are 2 months away from rationing oil and gas. We are 2 months away from rationing oil and gas. That's what other nations are doing. That's what other countries are doing. Other countries are rationing their gas, rationing the oil that they use for X, Y, and Z. They're currently rationing their stuff. So we're 2 months away from doing that. Because if you times 9 times 30, we're going to be out of our reserves within a month. We're going to be out of reserves. If we continue at this pace, we're going to be out of reserve within a month and a half, 2 months. I say a month and a half, 2 months. We're going to be out of our reserves. So a deal needs to be made. And even then it's going to take months to get back where we were. Even then it's going to take months, maybe even years to get back to where we were. We paying the higher prices. All because Donald Trump was jealous of Barack Obama and tore up the Iran deal. No, we don't use their crappy oil, retard. We use our reserves. And since we use our reserves and we normally start out with 700, now we're down to 300. We're burning through our reserves. And it's going to take 2 months and we're going to be through our reserve. The reason why we're using our reserves is that we don't want our gas prices to be $6, $7, $8, $9. So that's why we don't have gas that high. Sure, I don't. I don't know anything, Pat. I don't know jack. That's all it takes is reading. But I understand that you guys don't understand reading and you don't understand studying. Okay? So, yeah, you're smoking meth. You're smoking something all right. Ordinary Americans are paying the bill every single day. Okay? Every single day. Did jealousy of Obama help create this crisis we're living through today? Yes, it did. Yes, it did. It led directly to what we're doing right now. It led directly to us starting to ration on. We ain't started rationing gas yet. Give it 2 months. If this war continues to go on and on and on, we're going to have to start rationing our oil. Yeah, right. I can tell by the people in the comment that some of y'all are slow and don't get what I'm talking about. But that's okay. Let me know what you think about the comment and the commentary in the comment section. Some of y'all in the chat need to go do some research because you're goofy and you don't understand how oil and gas prices work, and you darn sure don't understand what our reserves are like. So no, I think you are, Pat. Hey, we keep going the direction we're going, and the gas is gonna get there $10 again. Only reason why it's not $10 is because of the strategic oil reserves. Because of the oil reserve, that's the only reason why we don't have gas that high. Okay. No, Paul, you need to go do that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in here talking goofy like you goofy mega people do. So hit the like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in another one, in another video. No, you definitely, that reading is stupid. Oh my God. This dude said reading is stupid, y'all. I swear, you mega people are y'all so goofy. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate all of y'all. I appreciate